Hi everyone, welcome. It's good having you here today. I decided to make a eucalyptus soap. Eucalyptus is oh so refreshing and energizing. And if you have experienced it in a spa or in a hot tub or in your home bathtub, you already know what I mean by that, right? Did you know that eucalyptus grows here in Texas? Now, it's not perhaps the eucalyptus you're thinking of. We can grow something here known as rainbow eucalyptus. And it does not have the same wonderful fragrance. It does smell like eucalyptus, but it is a much more delicate fragrance than the traditional fragrance that you know as eucalyptus. And I am going to be using the split mold there. I'm trying to create a tree trunk up the middle. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but it was just an idea that came to me that I would try to do the eucalyptus trunk, because that to me is the most beautiful part. That's where the peeling bark is. The leaves are pretty too. And depending on the eucalyptus tree, some of them are quite tall, quite beautiful. But I love the bark, and that is the thing that a lot of people dislike about them, which I understand. It's messy, they can kill other plants by dropping their bark on them, and I do get that. But here they don't grow the way that they grow in other places. They are not an invasive species and here, and so they're more of just an ornamental. But it gave me the idea to make this particular soap. I am using the dried leaves as colorant in the soap, and it's more of a brown green in soap because it does turn in the soap. But I just think that it's such a wonderful plant, and it does add those same antibacterial and anti-inflammatory qualities that Eucalyptus Essential Oil does. And of course I'm using Eucalyptus Essential Oil in here as well to just boost that. And this is an Australian eucalyptus essential oil, and it is very strong. I love it. I'm using it sort of at a mid-strength in this particular soap, and I think it's just fantastic. So if you like eucalyptus, and who doesn't? Oh, I'm sure there are people that don't. But if you like eucalyptus, you will love this soap. And what's great about it is because that's what I forgot to tell you. I have olive oil in both these batters here. The olive oil in them are infused with the eucalyptus bark. For about 45 days. It was heated and then left to sit and steep for 45 days. And so there is a lovely fragrance from that bark in addition, to the essential oils. And to me, it adds just an undernote of sweetness. And it's kind of hard to explain until you smell it, but it truly just goes that step further. Now, here I'm adding some ground eucalyptus leaf, but it is mixed with a little bit of wheatgrass because I wanted it to have sort of a muted color. I wanted it to be, or at least to have some variation in the color. And because this is two different batches, one for the center, or for two different colors for the center, I just wanted to give some variation. I added about 4 times as much in the larger bowl there, so that they will vary slightly. That's all. And it is ever so slight, as you can see in the finished bars. But I just wanted something a little different. Are they perfect? No, they're not. And if anyone ever makes the perfect bar, at least by their standard, I would love to hear about it. And now, does that mean Have I made soaps that I'm proud of? Sure, sure. I think every bar I'm proud of. You know why? Because I'm alive, I'm here, I still have a sense, desire to create. So that's something certainly to be proud of and is a success. So I want you to think about that too. When you're soaping, when you're making or lotions or anything like that, you are making something perfect. Now, what does that mean? Because can it be a fail and be perfect? In my opinion, yes, because there is perfection in flaws. You know, now let me back up a bit here. Are there flawless diamonds? Yes, there are. And are they perfect? That depends. Think about where they come from. You've heard of blood diamonds, right? Diamonds that have come from people treated almost like chattel or slaves just to get diamonds. So just because it doesn't have a flaw in that diamond, does that mean that it's truly flawless and perfect? Not in my opinion. I'd almost rather have a diamond with an inclusion in it that came from someone who got paid a fair wage and was treated humanely to mine that diamond. I'm not a diamond person, so I'm just using that as an analogy. And what I mean by that, so when you do make something, if you have the right state of mind and you're enjoying what you're doing, to me, that's a wonderful thing, even if it doesn't come out perfect, right? And I'm using the split mold for this. Now, the one thing that I will say, going forward, I'm going to use a funnel, and I'm also going to lift up that center divider a little bit so the soap can flow under it a little easier, because what ended up happening is it was fuller on one side than the other, then I had to go back and pour on top of that. And that did affect the design somewhat. So going forward, it's just a tip, something I've learned. And you can see that it's kind of bleeding out at the bottom into those side channels. And one thing I will also do going forward is to put a little bit of weight on those dividers, pressing it down into the silicone mold so that that doesn't happen. Because I really want to try to keep those colors separate, but we do the best we can with what we can. Now, because the dividers are in here, the mold doesn't hold quite as much soap as it would otherwise. So once I pulled the dividers out and I saw it went down a bit, right, then I had to pour more on top too. So these are all lessons that I'm learning on how to use this particular mold and the dividers. But overall, it worked very well. But a little messy? Sure thing. But I had a lot of fun doing it. I really did. So this bit is a little bit messy, lifting them out. But that's kind of fun too. Mess can be kind of fun. Maybe it's because I was a messy little kid in some ways. Not that I like to be dirty or anything, but I love to make a mess outside. I was the kid playing in the mud. I didn't like to get mud under my fingernails and stuff. I still don't like to do that even when I garden. I'm one of those people that scrape my fingers on a bar of soap first to get soap under my nails before I go out into the garden, just so dirt doesn't get there. That's one of those things that bothers me. But I love digging in the dirt and playing in the dirt, and I did as a kid as well. Even though I wasn't gardening or anything, it was a lot of fun, and I really did enjoy that time. And how about you? Were you one of those kids that liked to make a mess and play in the dirt? So I did take these out of the mold, take this loaf out of the mold a little bit earlier than I should have. So it was a little soft on the bottom. So we've I have a feeling from most soapers that I've communicated with, we've all done this on occasion, got a little impatient, and perhaps took it out of the mold a little before we should have, and so I ended up with some soft banged up corners, as you can see there. But those were easy to trim off, and I was quite pleased with it overall. So I did decide to cut these into some real nice tall skinny bars, and as you can see, that's what I ended up with. I guess you could say it's a tree trunk. Perhaps not as it's more of an abstract tree trunk than I was going for. And again, that's because, like I said, there was some leakage underneath the mold, and I didn't account for pulling the dividers out and then having to pour more soap in. So it came out a little more abstract. So I'm still very, very pleased with the fragrance on these. They came out just delightful. And while it is very spa-like, these I think would be just perfect for anyone who likes the idea of a crisp, herbaceous and uplifting fragrance. These have that in spades, and I was very happy with that. Really, and I am very happy with that. So what's going on around here? Well, a couple of things. Let's see. Poor Doug was attacked by a bobcat, or he attacked a bobcat and then it fought him and tore his neck up pretty good. He was in pretty bad shape for a little bit. And I was not feeling well for a few days too. A couple things. I won't go into a lot of detail, but I'm fine now. I think so. I think I'm doing okay. Doug is on the mend. For the first week or so, he would not come out and be with me and Barry and Tammy the kitten. He kind of stayed in the hallway by himself. And this isn't unusual for injured animals. It's what they do in nature as well. And I felt so bad because he and I are very close. He's with me all the time. He gets on me, he gets in the bed when I'm in the bed, he gets in the chair when I'm in the chair. And keep in mind, this dog weighs over 100 pounds. But he's just a big baby. And anyway, so that time he was not feeling well. It really was tough on him. But he's doing much better now. He's healed up, or healing up tremendously. His personality is back. He's back being affectionate and being himself again. And for that, I'm very, very happy. So anyway, I'm showing you all of these, and they do vary, but as you can see, the design is not very exciting, but nonetheless, they smell fantastic, and I'm really happy with them. I truly am. So I hope that you all are having a terrific week. I'm looking forward to getting some other videos up, but let me know your thoughts on this one, and take care, everyone, and I'll see you back soon. Goodbye.